Good morning. Getting a little up close and personal with you at the start of our practice today. My name is Karen, coming to you from Salt and Sand Studios in Warren, Vermont, the beautiful Mad River Valley. It is a beautiful day today, at least on this live broadcast. So today is about finding flavor in forward folds. And if you had a chance to read the description, I thought about calling it 50 Shades of Folding or 50 Shades of Forward Folding, but I don't know if I even know that many variations. So I just wanted to kind of give you a sense for the aim for the forward fold. We often really round our backs in a forward fold rather than looking for a flat back. So imagine if you are folding, and I'm going to keep my feet a little bit wide, that the aim here is for a long spine. It doesn't matter whether you're forward folding from standing or seated or lying down, but if you think about a piece of paper, you find the edges together, roughly, doesn't really matter. So this is sort of what we often feel like in a forward fold, where, and maybe even more like this, where we're super rounding the spine. If you take your thumb and forefinger and run it along that edge, the folded edge, you get a bit of a crease. Now you might say, I can't fold that way because it hurts my lower back. That's when you bend your knees. So you find a little bend in your knees in your forward fold, and that gives you a lot more support for your low back. So as we forward fold, think more about sending your heart past your toes than sending your head or your nose to your thighs or your knees. So that's enough explanation at the front. We're going to start in a seat today. And if you are playing the set list, because, it's a yoga concert, feel free to start that now. In your comfortable seat, cross your legs the awkward way, the way you don't normally do, and sit up nice and tall. It's really good to have you here. Hands wherever it feels okay for you. Draw your pelvis a little bit forward, so almost like a little pelvic tilt forward, and your navel in and up to lengthen your spine. We don't want to be hunched over, just like we don't want to be hunched over in our forward fold. We're going to find a little bit of smile, not just in the face, but across the collarbones. A little beatific Buddha-like smile. And the chin just kind of rests a little bit downward. I'm a little bit shifted on my cushion. We're going to notice the body and the breath. And if you'd like to be more fully connected, the back of the right hand is in the palm of the left, and the thumb pads actually touch, creating this lovely meditative mudra. And find our breath. If you're feeling anxious, maybe you spend more time on the exhale. If you're feeling lethargic, a bit more time on the inhale. And we're going to work a box breath. If you are having any hypertension issues, you might not take the box breath. You might just breathe in and out to the counts that we're using. But I'm going to do one round of box breath for simplicity and to allow for those of us with hypertension. And then we'll move into just a lengthened breath. So we're going to breathe in to the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to hold for just 3, 2, 1, and breathe out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Retain at the bottom. 3, 2, 1. Big breath in. Full breath out. Big breath in. Complete breath out. And one more time, really generous. Fill the belly, the rib cage, lift the heart, sip in a little bit more air, and release. Drop your head. A little pendulum swing, nice and slow, left and right. As the chin moves up toward a shoulder, it's an inhale. And as the chin moves down toward the chest, it's a breath out. Three rounds of these little half circles, or they're sort of like smiles. We lift the head and drop the left ear toward the left shoulder. Reach around with the left hand, place it above your right ear, and let gravity and the weight of the hand help draw the ear toward the shoulder. Now bring the hand to the back of the head and turn your chin toward your armpit. And again, we allow for the weight of the hand and gravity to help stretch out the right side of the neck. I love to place the right hand outside the right hip and tent the fingers and see if that hand can walk away a little bit more from the body. Think of Cousin It from Addams Family. Dun, 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 dun. I don't think I got all those notes right. And we'll drop the chin to the chest, bring both hands to the floor, lift the head, walk both hands away. Turn the head over to the left, just a nice turn, breathe in, and exhale. Inhale, center. Exhale, turn to the other side. Inhale, center. This time, right ear toward the right shoulder. The hand reaches up, meets the head, the side of the head. Without a lot of push me, pull you, we draw the ear toward the shoulder and walk the left hand away from us a little bit more. Right hand to the back of the head, turn the nose and the chin toward the right armpit, and energy, gravity, weight. Left hand might move outward a little bit more. And we drop the hand, drop chin, lift the chin parallel to the earth. Even if you're on a cushion, go ahead and bring your hands behind you. And see if you can lengthen the torso. So you're sort of pressing the hands, maybe just the fingertops or maybe the palms and the heels of the hands into the earth, tucking the tailbone forward, lift, 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 and then see if in this back bend you can not use your low back, but rather use the torso, the shoulder blades, and lift the heart diagonally toward whatever star it might be up in the sky. Reaching, 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 as if you could light that star on fire and then drop your head back. We're going to use the belly nice and strong to sit back up straight, swing the arms in front of us, and guess what? We're going to take a forward fold. Draw the belly in, draw the tail down, breathe in. Exhale, squeeze the belly and walk the hands forward. We're not shifting the chin upward. We're keeping the neck as long as we can. And we're keeping the spine as long as we can. I can see just looking in there that my shoulders are rounding a bit. So I'm going to open up my collarbones. I'm going to breathe out and find a little bit more of a fold here. Breathe in and out. Breathe in. I can feel the glutes opening up. Feels nice. And then the head can drop. Our first forward fold, working the belly in and the spine long. And on a breath out with the belly super powered up, you're going to walk the hands back behind you, shift onto your sacrum, switch the cross of your feet. See if you can use your belly to help with that. And then we'll take the same thing. We're going to sit up nice and tall, bring the hands behind. Tilt the pelvis forward or the tailbone up. You can, whichever one feels like it's the right thing for you. Extend the torso, drop the shoulders, extend the torso again, front, sides, and back. Squeeze those shoulder blades together like they're falling in love. And then lift the heart toward the stars, head drops back. Keep tilting that tailbone forward. Taking this out of your low back, preparing for your forward fold. And use the belly, sit up straight. Exhale, hands in front of your front shin. Pause, inhale, lift the heart. Press the tailbone forward. Exhale, squeeze the belly in and find your long, long, long spine. I say long, long, long. I'm 5 foot something, maybe 3/4 at this point. But we imagine a spine even longer than the one we have today, creating space amongst all the vertebrae. Where's that vertebra? I forget which one is plural. Belly super strong. Walk the hands backwards, sit up straight. Drop your left hand by your side and float the right arm high. You might take a mudra here, maybe the index finger and the thumb tips touching, and we lift, lift, lift all sides of the body, not just the right side, and then a tilt over to the left. Press the right sit bone into the earth. See if you can press the left palm into the earth. Lift your heart a bit more. Keep the belly strong. Maybe you can look up at your wrist or your mudra. On an inhale, both arms sweep high, palms pressed together. We bring the fingers to the nape of the neck or between the shoulder blades and press the head back into the forearms. It might feel good to interlace your fingers, press the backs of the hands to the head, and open up the elbows a little bit more. We're going to take another little tilt. Squeeze the lowest rib on the left side toward the hip on the left side. Then open up those elbows and the heart. Rise back up, and we take that to the other side. Right hand drops, left arm reaches, maybe your mudra. Breathe in and exhale. Tilt a little bit more. Open up the heart toward the sky. And take a peek upward. Use the belly, rise arms overhead, a little twinkle of the fingers, shape arms. Checking in with the shoulders, finding some tricep activation, and noticing what's going on in your low back. Just above the cheeks. Are you arching that with the belly forward, or are you tucking it? Tuck the tailbone like it's drilling a hole into the ground. Drop your hands to your heart. Consider here any kind thought. The world is in quite a bit of turmoil. Lots of things happening with government and legislature and war and humankind. Let's put a little kind back into that word. Maybe close the eyes and consider how that might manifest in your practice or in your day. Use it to set an intention or establish your motivation. And repeat that in your head 3 times with your breath. We'll solidify that. We'll make it known to all of the energies, all the beings of the world with the sound of Om. Take a cleansing breath first. Super deep breath in. Let it go. And now you're Om. Let's continue our warm-up, moving to our larger muscles in a tabletop. TT. Cats and cows, hip circles, any motion that feels good. Especially note what's happening with your spine as you move around, twist it, turn it, elongate it. You start to feel a little loosening up, hopefully a little lubrication, a little fluidity. And in fact, since the low belly and pelvis area are the water energy spaces of the body, maybe you start to think about the fluid approach in making your movement more watery. We'll join into a tabletop. Not saying we're making a longer table because we're head to head. Fingers are wide. Tailbone is tucked just a little bit, and there's a little space between your shoulder blades. We're going to float the right leg off the mat behind us. Reach with the heel and then float the left arm in front. Get super strong here. Use the belly and reach. Going to swing the left arm to the left and the right leg to the right. Keep the leg off the ground. Going to bring the hand down. Sweep the leg above the left calf. Take a peek over the left shoulder. Drop the shoelace side of the right foot on the earth and draw the front of your right hip toward your left heel. I don't know what this posture is called, but I love it. I like to come to my forearms, keep the fingers nice and wide, and imagine I'm tractioning the hands and elbows backward. Right toes tucked under to float the knee off the mat. Then we send that heel farther away from us for a deeper stretch. Don't let the belly just hang out. Give it a little lift. We draw back to a three-legged tabletop. Bend the right knee as if we're stepping on the sky. And go ahead and float up and down that leg using the glutes and the hammies. And then we're going to open things up like we're doing an open downward dog. So we lift the right knee, working to stack the hips, right hip over the left, and maybe dropping that right foot a little behind us. Re-square your hips, draw your knee to your nose. Inhale, extend the leg, and draw the knee to the mat. A little wiggle, a little waggle, not a little gaggle. Belly in, shoelace side of the right foot on the earth, left leg floats. Long and strong, right arm floats. Power up the belly a lot, squeeze the glutes, right arm to the right, left leg to the left. Take your time, hang on, use that belly, arm and keep the left leg out, drop the right hand. Swing the left leg above the right calf. And we glide the front of the left hip toward the right heel, coming to the shoelace side of the left foot. Forearms onto the earth, perhaps, as if you're pulling the mat backward with your elbows. Left toes tuck. Left knee floats. Reach the left heel farther behind you, farther away from you. Return to a three-legged dog. Bend your left knee. Pump the leg up and down. Use the glutes. And then open up the hips. Left hip stacks over the right. Maybe you look over to the left. Left knee to your nose. Extend the leg. And return the knee to the mat. Child's pose. Knees super duper wide. This is a fold. It's a fold with a variation, but it is a fold. We are folding, drawing the belly toward the thighs, hopefully the belly touching in connection with the thighs. But it's a fold where we are working the sitting bones backward and down. In a forward fold from a standing position, we're lifting the sitting bones back and up. But here it's back and down. Feeling that energy, the breath, moving to elongate the spine and to soften the sacrum, the low back, from the left hip to the right hip to the left, as if someone was drawing a beautiful flowery line across that space, creating a softness with the flower petals and the scent of the flowers.
Let's bring the palms together with the pinkies on the ground. Thumbs point toward the sky, or at least point upward. And the elbows bend with the fingertips coming to the nape of the neck or between the shoulder blades again, like we did when we were seated, but this time, keeping the energy of the sitting bones moving toward the heels, but we'll walk the elbows forward one at a time until we start to feel a bit more opening under the arms, through the upper back, the shoulders area. The palms reach the earth. We return to a tabletop. It is slightly elongated so that we can tuck our toes, gather the belly in, and on an exhale, lift the hips to downward dog. Powerful posture, downward dog, creating strength, drawing energy out of the wrists with the belly by lifting that belly. That's your belly and my belly. Such a funny word, belly. We're lifting the hips, the sitting bones toward the sky. A bit of an inversion, and also very much akin to a forward fold. We're looking for a long back. Rise up to the tiptoes, drop the heels to the right. Take a peek under the right arm. Reach the heels toward the earth. Feel the calves opening up. Rise back up to the tiptoes, drop your heels to the left. Take a peek under the left arm. Rise back up. This time, we bend the knees a lot, look past the hands, and make our way to them with a forward fold at the front of the mat. Sneak the knees into a deep bend. Keep your fingertips on the earth and let the belly rest on the thighs. As you draw the belly lightly in and up, you're going to tuck the tailbone down a little bit. And then slowly, as you breathe out, you not only drop the head, really make it heavy, but you start to straighten your knees, maybe just a millimeter as you lift the hips a little bit more. And you'll be able to do that a little bit deeper later on in practice. Glide the fingers to the shins, find a half lift. Stay here for 2 rounds of breath. This is a fold. It's just a variation on a fold. We're looking for open collarbones, super strong belly, energy from the sitting bones backward and from the crown of the head forward. Exhale, forward fold. Knees stay bent. Inhale, halfway lift. Or you can exhale to find your halfway lift if it's better for your low back. Breathe out for a fold. One more time. Uttanasana, halfway lift, full cycle of breath. Forward fold, Uttanasana. Soften your knees a lot. And this time we are going to round the spine, unraveling, rooting to rise. The earth's energy rising up the inner arches of the feet, up the inseams to the hips. Mountain pose. Open up the collarbones, softness in the knees. Saluting our Green Mountain state. Inhale, arms lift out and up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Samastiti. Hands drop by your side, float them wide and high once again. Exhale, forward fold. We're going to take that sequence 2 more times. Find your forward fold. You might decide you want a ragdoll to start, or maybe it's a different bind. Maybe it's yogi toe lock. Maybe your hands are behind your calves or your ankles. Probably not the palms under the feet yet. Think about a long spine. How do you get a long spine? You draw the belly in. You work the heart a little bit. You let the head and the elbows hang heavy. You shift the sitting bone energy diagonally upward. Exhale, release any bind. Halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Full cycle of breath. And a fold. Halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Breathe out and fold. One more time. And we fold. Slinky roll all the way to standing. Take your time, knees remaining soft. Mountain pose. Arms reach out and up. Samastiki. Hands to the heart. Mountain pose. Let the arms rise wide and long and tall. Forward fold, hinging at your hips, softening the knees. Hands come through the heart. Find any variation you might like. We're going to take 5 breaths here. Imagining we're pushing the earth away with the outlines of the feet and the heels and the balls of the feet. One more round of breath. Release the bind on the breath out, halfway lift. Collarbones open up, belly strong, tailbone tucked, exhale, forward fold. Ardha Uttanasana, lift halfway up, long flat back. Breathe out and fold. One more time, half lift. And a forward fold. Rise up to standing. This time, hands overhead. Samastiki, hands to your heart. Close your eyes. Take a little rock and roll around on your feet. Eventually finding your equilibrium. Mapping to your center of gravity. Finding energy. Even in stillness. Keeping at the heart, keeping the feet a little bit wide. We're going to bend our knees and move into chair pose, Uttanasana. You might not come very deep. Draw the tailbone down, the belly in and up. We're going to take an east-west pose with the left arm forward and the right arm behind. Just an easy twist. Keep the thighs spinning toward one another as if you have a block between them, and tuck your tailbone a little bit more. Bring your arms forward, lock them back into the shoulder blades. See if you can rise up to the balls of your feet. Sink a little bit lower and stay low as you draw the heels back down. Belly's got to work for you here. This is almost like a semi-fold because you have a hinge at your hips. You have your knees soft, but we're not folding over fully. And inhale, exhale, twist to the left, left arm behind. Yeah, thighs are working. Inhale, arms forward, lock them back into the shoulders. Rise up to your tiptoes again. Sink deeper. Pause here. See if you can hang on to this with the tailbone forward. Draw your heels to the earth. Inhale, lift to standing. Whee! Exhale, forward, fold. Knees soft, halfway lift. And a forward fold. Left foot glides to the back of the mat for a runner's lunge. Take your time. Right ankle and right knee stacking. Reach back with that left heel. Draw the belly away from the thigh. So this is another instance where if the spine is super rounded, you might consider grabbing props so that you can keep the spine long. We're going to work into a fold here. I don't know what variation number this is at this time. Really draw the left kneecap toward the left thigh. Press into the front foot. Extend that front leg and fold over your leg. Here, I'm staying pretty flat because if I work downward, I actually find a super rounding of my spine. And in fact, with a fold like this, I'm actually doing a little bit more to open up my right hamstring than I might otherwise be. Drop your back knee to the earth. Keep your left hand down and float the right arm high, a twist. I'm going to find a half bind here because that will help me open up my shoulder a bit more. Maybe you scoot your right foot forward and sink a little deeper into the front hip crease, allowing for a bit more opening on the left hip flexor. Another variation on a fold, hands plant. Right leg extends. Left hip comes over the left knee. We point the right toes toward the torso. Maybe this is where we stay because we have super tight hamstrings. And by we, I mean me. Or rather than rounding the spine and reaching the nose toward the knee, shift forward from the hips, shift your pelvis forward a little bit. Imagine you're dragging the mat back with the right heel and then reach the heart past the toes. And if that allows you to come a little bit lower, super. I just came about a ½ inch lower. So each breath in, the heart reaches forward, the shoulders open up, and each breath out, maybe you find a little deeper fold. Didn't know so many folds were in a yoga practice, did you? We're going to come back up with the sole of the right foot returning to the earth. Left toes tucking under. We're going to take another fold in Utanasana. So go ahead and tuck the back toes, float the back knee off the mat, and then shorten your stance until both feet are all the way on the mat. The back foot's in a warrior one. Bring the heels to the mat and imagine you're pulling the right foot backward even though it is glued to the floor. That helps square your hips, lift up halfway, like an Ardha Uttanasana, open up your collarbones, breathe out, fold. There you go. Here's another flavorful fold over your right leg. And we're going to play around with this a little bit today. Halfway up again. Draw the right hip back, the left hip forward and fold. Both feet firmly planted, firmly growing from the ground. One more time, half lift. Reach the heart forward and the tailbone back, the right sitting bone back before you fold again. This time we're going to lift up halfway, bring the hands to the hips and rise all the way up, a standing pyramid. Don't all pyramids stand? I find that standing, I'm a little bit less balanced, so I have to move my right foot out to the right. So we're going to bring the hands to the hips. And this time we're going to square the center of the chest toward the right knee. Lift the arms up. Then we're going to fold or hinge. Let's think about a hinge because that feels more like that piece of paper. We're going to reach the heart forward and hinge halfway down. So we're super long in the spine, as long as we can be. I need to bend my front knee a little bit. And then we're going to fold again over the leg. You might find you can go a little bit deeper or that you need to bend the knee a little bit more and drop your head. We're going to take a little reverse. Left hand down or on a block, the heel of the right hand at your low back. Lift halfway up, long spine, breathe in. Exhale a twist to the right. Fold once more, both hands to the mat or block. The back foot steps up to meet the front. Soften your knees, float all the way to standing. Find yourself into chair pose again. Hands to your heart or your hips. Float the left knee off the mat. Bring the foot down. We're just practicing our balance here. Float the right knee up, right foot off the mat. Use your drishti, use your belly. And the foot comes back down, fold over your legs. Halfway lift. All that shindig on the other side, forward fold. Right foot to the back of the mat, runner's lunge. I'm using blocks more as a reminder, but frankly, also as an aid. This is its own sort of forward fold. As we draw the right kneecap toward the right quad, I need to lengthen my stance a little bit. We're going to exhale, press into the front leg and fold over it. You might not get it all the way straight. Don't try and get the nose toward the knee, but rather the heart toward the shin. Come forward with a bent knee, runner's lunge, open up the collarbones. Lengthen and fold over that front leg. Inhale, peel forward, runner's lunge. Extend and fold. Next breath in, runner's lunge. We drop the back knee. Untuck the toes. Lengthen your stance if you need to. The left arm floats high. Finding a half bind if that is helpful for opening up the heart. While my right quad is super duper tight. So I'm not going to shift the pelvis forward too far, but I'm going to work to breathe into that right quad. Long spine breath in, twisty, twisty breath out. Left hand down, half split Ardha Hanumanasana. Extend your front leg. Maybe the hands help it do that. Right hip over the right knee. Find your long spine, belly in and up. Long collarbones, wide collarbones. Heart forward, breath in, fold, breath out. You're hinging at your hips, creating this fold line, this tight fold line, which might mean a bend in your left knee. You should feel your left hamstrings open. So if you are not, you might shift that left hip back a little bit by imagining you're dragging the left heel backward, even though it is Velcroed to the ground. Figurative. Let's take one lift. Send the heart forward, the hips back, and fold again. Sole of the left foot returns to the mat. Back toes tuck under. We make our way into Uttanasana pyramid pose. Remember to shorten your stance so that the soles of both feet can be all the way on the mat. I'm moving my left foot out because I know this hip is a little bit tighter on me. Don't know if it is on you. Draw the left bony hip backward. Face the right bony hip toward the mat. Breathe in, half lift. Long spine. As you draw the belly in, fold over your left leg. Maybe that knee. Drop your head. Again, half lift. And a forward fold. Even as the feet are moving energy backward, they're tractioning toward one another a little bit. The inner left thigh moving sort of behind you from the center. Half lift. And hinge. One more time, halfway lift. Shoulders toward the hips, left hip backward, and fold. Hands to your hips, rise halfway up. Rise all the way up. Resituate your feet if you need to. Making sure the hips are square toward the front of the mat. This is our last standing posture, except I think we'll go back to a down dog. Arms float overhead, center of the chest squares toward your left knee. Hinging at your hips, come to a long spine. Use the belly, drag the front foot back, arms by your ears if possible. And then drop your hands, maybe bend your left knee to refold over your leg. You can feel this a little bit more on the IT band in addition to the hamstrings. A little reverse, right hand down, heel of the left hand onto your low back. Lift halfway up, breath in, send the hips back. Exhale, twist to the left. Left hand down, maybe move your props, step the back foot up to meet the front. Rise up to standing. No more Uttanasana. I said no more Uttanasana more so that I could say Uttanasana again. Hands lift overhead and hinge at your hips, forward fold, halfway lift. And a fold. We're going to step back to our high plank. We're going to power it up by floating the right leg off the mat, hooking the ankles, maybe doing a halfway down push-up, and unhooking the ankles. Left leg floats, hook the ankles, low plank, high plank, feet on the ground, downward dog. Breathe in for 3 counts. Breathe out for 3 counts. Breathe in. Let it go. One more time. And out. Inhale. Come to high plank. Drop your knees and or lower all the way down. We're going to come into a Sphinx pose. Sphinx is our back bend today. Why? Because it gives us an opportunity to really feel the hips and the pelvis involved. It's not that you can't do that in Cobra. It's a little bit more obvious, at least to me, in Sphinx. Legs come wide on your mat, especially if you have low back problems. If you feel fine in a back bend like this, you're welcome to bring the legs together like a tree trunk. Tops of the feet on the earth. Bony hips on the front of the body on the earth. Now lift the navel away, but unhook energies from your glutes if you can. Imagine that your elbows and your hands and your forearms are drawing the mat backward and opening up space for your heart. Shoulder blades squeeze together. You don't have to lift your chin. Well, you don't want to tuck it toward your chest, but you don't need to lift it up like this. And we're here for 3. Lift the belly, open the heart. 2, press the floor away, squeeze the collarbones, squeeze the shoulder blades. 1, come all the way down to the mat. We're going to take fallen tree. So your left ear comes to the mat. Your left leg comes straight out of the left hip. Your right knee bends out to the right, and the sole of the right foot comes close to the left thigh. Breathe here. 3, 2, and 1. Take that to the other side. Extend your right leg, bring your right ear to the mat. Left knee bends out to the left. So the sole of the left foot is near the right thigh. Breathe in. Let it go. 2 more breaths. I'm going to find our way briefly into a tabletop to do a couple of cat-cows. We're heading into the last 7 minutes of the practice today. Find your cat-cows. And we'll come to a seat to make our way into a twist, and then one last forward fold before we close out. So from your tabletop, you can just sneak your knees forward, find your way onto one hip and swing the legs around, or cross your ankles and roll over them. For our twist today, we're bringing the heel of the right foot toward the left glutes, as close as we can get it. Your choice, you can either just simply keep the left foot on the mat in front of the right foot, or you can hook the left ankle outside the right thigh. Your right heel needs to get really close to your bottom to make this work. You're working to press the big toe mound of the left foot to the earth, Left arm, not a kickstand, it's just a guide, so don't put all your weight in there. Lift, lift, lift from the sitting bones all the way to the crown of the head. Breathe in. Exhale, twist to the left. See if as you move your spine, as you twist your head, if the eyes can follow so that you're looking as far peripherally to the left as you can. Almost as if you could look at your left ear. On an inhale, return to center. Hands behind you, shift to your sacrum, use your belly to switch the cross of your legs. And we take that twist to the other side. One more breath. Come front and center, uncross the legs, sit up super tall, toes point toward your torso, maybe the knees bend a little bit. Lift, 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 arms in front, lock them back into your shoulders, breathe in. Exhale, sneak that heart forward as if it's reaching above and past your toes. Inhale and shift. Breathe in and shift. One more time. Long spine, hands can drop. You do not have to aim the head toward the knees. 2 more breaths. Unroll all the way down to your back and bring the soles of the feet to the mat on your way. And we're going to take a little happy baby or big happy baby. Rocking out left and right to loosen up that spine. Massage the low back. Maybe take a flying Uttanasana with the soles of the feet together, giving a little bit more opening to the inner hips. And then it's time for Shavasana. So find whatever works for you. That could be Supta Baddha Konasana, legs up the wall, or the more traditional corpse pose with some space between the feet, legs extended on the mat, shoulder blades meshing with the earth, palms facing up. Huge, generous, full breath in. Release any remaining tension. Next breath in, sweep your arms overhead, point the toes forward and reach the fingertips behind, breathing in. Reach, 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 let it all go. Roll over onto one side. Pardon my allergies. Come back to your intention or your motivation. And consider our nature and the nomenclature that we historically have used to represent us as beings, humankind, humankind, humankind. With your head heavy, press yourself to a comfortable seat. We'll close as we begin with a chant of Om, hands drawn to the heart to do so. We're going to send out our human kindness, our good intentions, our motivations out into the world to share them with others who can then share them with others. Big breath in.
Thumb knuckles connect right at the center of your forehead. May kindness be in your thoughts, in your words, and in your actions. Namaste. Thank you for the treasure and the pleasure of practicing with you. Kind of funny in a space where you see me, but I don't see you, but so thrilled that we are practicing together, sharing our energy over the interwebs regardless. I hope you have a wonderful remainder of your day or evening, depending on when you have viewed this. And note that starting last week, we're at the Featherbed Inn at 11 on Saturdays for Stretch and Sip. Best scones in the valley, great tea. Great company, and about 50 to 55 minutes of gentle yoga. We're also reintroducing our partnership with Yestermorrow, with Yester Yoga on Wednesday evenings at 5:30 on the grounds of Yestermorrow. In all instances of our outdoor classes, there are indoor options should weather decide not to cooperate. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you. Take care. Lots of love.